Cyclones are not failed, but they just work differently. Yeah, I'm personally, I think I'm fond of the new Cyclone. I think I like it. We have been seeing it used quite frequently. I mean, again, like as we've been seeing, players like Cure, they just use them early on for map control and shutting down overlords. He doesn't mask them. There are some players like Clem that have attempted to mask them. There have been a lot of all-ins as well, especially in TVP, but we can get into that at a later date, because here we are in the grand finals, los gran finales, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN, going for a 2-rax. Let's go. And spawning in the top left, we have we have the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, getting 2-rax. It is Dark. I just realized what Iceland just said. A classic hatchery when he's Protoss. You're an animal, Iceland. You're an animal. Yeah. I need to throw down a platypus head. There we go. Beautiful. And it is going to be a proxy 2-rax. Now, Dark is for now unawares. The first Overlord is going across the map. The second Overlord should be rallied back home. There it is. Actually, oh my god, look at the rally setting here. The Overlord is sent out towards the halfway mark, then turning back around, but the drone comes in, and the drone does confirm the proxy. The boys are being pulled. Now, it's only a proxy 2-rax, so this is not the most committed. You can pull the boys, and if you can get on top of these SCVs, if you can deny the bunkers, then you will shut this down. Up, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It looks like the Raxes, they will finish, but these SCVs, they've taken a lot of hits, and that means bunkers will not be finishing up. More boys are being pulled here to dive on top of the Marines. The question marks are real. Do we have Maddox? We have Inu. We have Inu to translate. Give us a translation, Inu. As Dark is going back to droning. ByuN just repositioning his Raxes. Marines trying to push out, but again, there's no bunkers, so without bunkers, ByuN shouldn't really do too much damage. He's forcing lost mining time, that is true. He can maybe get a couple of drone kills, but once the queens come out, that should be a hold. So far so good here from Dark, sorry. And ByuN is transitioning. He's already transitioning back at home. He's going for a factory. Vote for the gains or vote for the Zerg. Well, see, that's the problem that I have with the Ultra, with the classic Ultra skin. It's so thin, it's so frail. It needs some meat on those bones, man. We need to feed him. As the queens have arrived, Marines are going to be forced back. We're still just pumping out more and more Marines here at this Rax. So we do force a lift off. And back at home, ByuN is expanding. He is going to be expanding. There it is. We have additional, or we have that starport on the way. Interesting. It's going to be a 2-1-1. Okay. So we do have a 2-1-1 opener before us. Before the third TC, so quite an aggressive opener here, or quite an aggressive follow-up from ByuN. He's going to be delaying his third base in favor of a starport. Speaking of, oh, even the low ground CC is delayed as well. Ay. It's going to take a little bit longer to get up and running. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark, he's just expanding, taking a third base. Roach Warren's on the way, additional gases as well. Now, what is scary is that the rush distance on Golden Aura is pretty short. And look at all this lost building time. These Raxes are floating back home, and they're doing nothing. Stim is delayed, combat shields is delayed. Now, what I'm getting at is that, just like the previous game against Cure, Dark, he can cut workers at around 50. He can cut workers pre-three-way saturation, and he can just go for like one big roach push. Now, the one thing that's deterring me from that is that we're just now taking our gases. Gases are delayed, and we don't have link speed. Without link speed, potentially Dark may be a little bit more wary about pushing out. I can only say one of them said really. A So we go. Roaches are in production. Third base getting established. Dark isn't droning. He's cutting workers here at 35, but okay, there we go. There we go. He's making 5 more workers. He's droning up even further. These are just safety roaches just to make sure that the ByuN doesn't snowball out of control. And Dark is going to be able to just chill back at home and saturate. There it is. Lair is on the way. Do you have a Hellion drop into the main base? Well, we have the Lings in position. They are only slow Lings, but regardless, they're able to zone away those Hellions. At the same time, the Roaches are going for a big counterattack. The tank not quite in position, but now it's a siege. Big tank volleys going off on these Roaches. Oh my god. Massive connections. Just like that, 4 or 5 Roaches go down. Dark, he's bleeding out too much. Yeah, this was a massive blunder here from Dark. Not really expecting the tank to be out already. Oh, that is 9 Roaches falling. So many minerals, so much gas down the drain. At the same time, the Hellions come in. Initially, it was a good defense from Dark, but now Dark is in a lot of trouble. Dark is droning. Does Dark have an army? He has 1 Roach, and ByuN is not backing off. Uh-oh. Dark still isn't making any units. There we go. 2 more Roaches are on the way, but this may just be game. ByuN, he rocks up here at the third base. Drones are going to be going down the hatchery as well. This is getting an insane amount of damage. The boys are being pulled. We're going to lose 18, 19, 20. GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. Initially, a good defense. Initially, a solid defense out of Dark. But he did get too overeager. He overextended. He pushed out with his Roaches. He lost 9 Roaches for free, essentially. And he was droning as he was losing those Roaches, which means he did not have anything left to defend. I mentioned before, the rush distance by ground on Golden Aura led me to believe that we could get into a Roach Ling all-in. Instead, ByuN, I mean, is able to punish a push, counterattack, and end the game then and there. ByuN takes a lead. After a failed Proxy 2-Rax, by the way. Impressive. But for context, Proxy 2-Rax is not very committed. You can transition very seamlessly out of Proxy 2-Rax. Proxy 3-Rax is different. That is, you know, suddenly you have so much more emphasis on it and your follow-up is so much more delayed. So that's a bit of a different story, but it was only 2 Raxes, so ByuN could just get out of that in the end and was able to secure his win here. Again, Dark just overconfident, Bobby, overconfident. Now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlet, we have the South Korean Terran player leading the series 1-0, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. Oh my god. We have his opponent representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And as we get into game number 2 of the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Asia number 199, I want to give a big shout out to Gemini GGE Mini in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. I hope you had some good matches as well. I did notice that Gemini, he was in the bracket this week. He was in the tournament. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast Gemini, but I hope you had a great time nonetheless. And thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying yourself when it comes to your own content, when it comes to the All Things Protoss Team League as well. Do check out Gemini's channel. A lot of great content, a lot of good casting. Good stuff, good stuff. As we're getting into our openers. ByuN this time going for a 2-Rax, yes, but back at home, not across the map. It's going to be a 2-Rax Reaper opener as opposed to the Proxy 2-Rax that we did have in game number 1. Behind this, Dark going Hatch Gas Pool. Going for his own standard opener as well. Overlord is going to be coming in, and Dark is going to confirm, okay, everything is looking normal, everything is back at home, I'm not being cheesed the hell out. Not yet, at least. Not yet. As, of course, ByuN has a lot of potential with this, has a lot of aggressive potential as well. We've seen ByuN go into 3-racks Master Reaper, which we would have seen a 3rd racks by now. We've seen him go into 4 racks, 3 racks, you know, just a 2 base all-ins, not even 3cc 2-on-1, or even a 3cc 2-on-1. There's a lot on the table here. My eyes, they're glued to ByuN, in the production tab at least. As the Reaper dips into the main base, gonna try and disrupt some of the mining here. Do force out those lings. And we do have a bit of a dance between our first couple of units. And these things should not go down, but oh! Oh my god, looks like the first ling will fall. Can we get a drone? Up! We do not! A very quick gas geyser there from Dark. Forces a cancel. Keeps the drone alive. And from here, ByuN is transitioning. We have the factory on the way, and it is going to be a 3cc 2-on-1 opener out of ByuN. Now, we'll see what kind of variation we go for here. You know, Maru last season, he did go for a Widowmine drop variation of this. We have been seeing some Hellbat pushes out of Cure off of 2-on-1s. We have seen some Cyclone pushes as well. Until then, oh, a drone does get picked off. Very nicely done. Bearing in mind, this is only 3 Reapers, and as the Reapers get pushed away, Dark is expanding, is taking his 3rd base. Was not really delayed for too long. Ling speed kicks in. Oh! And he will get us around. He will get 1, at least 1. Maybe even all 3. And it does look like all 3 Reapers will go down. We get a last scout off just to make sure that there's no hidden Roach Warren behind a mineral line. Dark is more than willing to go all in on roaches, so ByuN is just making sure that that is not the case. And now that the 3rd CC is on the way, we have that starport as well. Oh, and this is going to be what looks to be a Banshee variant. Again, this has risen in popularity amongst players like ByuN and Maru. So essentially what's going on here, typically we would have a reactor on the factory, we go for an add-on swap, and we go for medevacs. But instead this time we have a tech lab, so we're going for Banshees instead. It's been a while since we've seen this, but the reasoning for this is because against a 2-on-1 opener, Dark is very unlikely to throw down spores. There's no reason to throw down spores, at least not to deal with Banshees. To deal with maybe follow-up drop play, we may get some like fringe spores here on the edges of the bases. But for the most part, Dark is going to be cutting corners, and the likelihood of him having spores is very low, which means this Banshee could do a lot of damage. Now, the reason why this will catch Dark off guard, and this is very uncommon, is because this will delay the push. Stim is done. We have plenty of Marines. Ideally, we want to be going into those medevacs as soon as possible so we can make use of these Marines, make use of Stim, be active on the map, clear up creep, and vie for map control. ByuN, he's going to be sacrificing that aggressive potential in favor of catching his opponent off guard and crippling the economy by going to town on that mineral line. So Dark just, taking quite a big gamble here, praying that these Banshees go unscouted. And so far they are. So far, no spores. Dark, he's taking his gases, he's working on what was soon to be a 4th base. Lair is on the way as well, just now finishing. So we have access to Overlord, or to Overseers even. And here we go, the Banshees have arrived. We have our 2 Banshees, we're going to be moving out. So far unscattered, so far Dark has no idea. There's no idea what's going on. Banshee's making a beeline for, I imagine, the main base. Meanwhile, ByuN is chilling back at home. He's waiting for his medevacs, as now we do have an actual medevac swap, or an add-on swap for that reactor. The Banshees have arrived, and so far no spores. We just go straight for the Queen. Queen's gonna go down, and we can one-shot workers. Cloak does run out, as we did actually activate Cloak prematurely, so we get 4 drones and a Queen. We could have gotten more, but the Banshees are still alive. They're still very healthy. We can go in and we can get even more damage the next time. Not bad to start with, not bad. 4 workers, a Queen, and here comes the main push. Stim is done. Combat shields as well. There we go, we can stim a little bit more freely. Diving in towards this 4th base location. Oh! He's not quite going to connect. Banshees, they rain down onto those Banelings. Meanwhile, we try to go for a double drop in the main base, but the Queens are in position. And the drop is denied. ByuN going to be forced back. At least he didn't lose his Marines. He does preserve them. Likewise, the Banshees are still alive as well as they try to dip back into the main base with energy for Cloak. Meanwhile, Dark is rushing into a lair. Sorry, not a lair. I mean, he did. He's rushing into a hive. Very fast hive here out of ByuN. Out of Dark, even. So it's all blending together. Alright. Ready for this. Very fast hive out of Dark. Curious as to what that's going to be for. Good target firing, but the drop is forced away. Meanwhile, Dark hasn't really been losing too many workers. He lost 4 workers earlier, but now he's been able to drone up to 77. He's getting a 5th base up and running. He is free to drone and saturate up to 80 workers. We do see that ByuN is trying to do something about that. He does have a drop here on the right-hand side, but he has so much creep to work through first. So much of that creep. And he is just cutting a path through that creep towards the top right-hand base, but there are Banelings though! ByuN wasn't looking! He's not looking, Papi! Takes some Banelings to the face. ByuN losing a lot of momentum. He still has a drop on the left-hand side, but there are Banelings waiting for him there as well. As ByuN, he's working on a 4th CC, should be taking his gases. That's a 2nd factory for Widowmine production, 2-2 on the way. Pretty standard setup here from ByuN, other than the lack of gases. But he's not going tank heavy, so Widowmines makes plenty of sense. As the Banshees, they come back in, they get another 4 drones. Did I say 4? They're gonna get 5. 5 workers. Wow. Who was there? Finally gonna get shut down. I believe that was 9 drones in total and a queen. Pretty good stuff here for some Banshees. At the same time, we have ByuN going for a bit of a waddle by himself. Gets into the mineral line, gets 7 drones, and he can just keep on pushing. Oh my god! Banelings once again getting some decent connections. At the same time, Dark tries to go for a counterattack, but alas, he gets cleaned up. Does not get into the mineral line, does not touch the economy at all of ByuN. And ByuN is snowballing out of control. You can see here that he's just pulling his opponent apart. Dark is trying to keep up, don't get me wrong. Dark has been teching. Go with the hatchery, up! Oh, ByuN being too greedy, takes some Banelings to the face, does not get the hatchery. Uh-oh. He didn't get the hatchery. Didn't trade well against the Ling Bane. ByuN, is he overconfident? The medevac goes down. Is he too overconfident? Is he... yeah, just bleeding out too much. There's some Bane run-bys. 10 SCVs go down. At the same time, here comes the main army of Dark. Takes down the add-ons. Gets 10 SCVs. Backs off from here. And once again, we saw this out of Dark earlier. We saw this from him against Cure. He's going Ling Bane into Ultras. We have some Infestors to support, some Vipers as well. But the Ultras are what's coming next. Meanwhile, once again, another Ling run-by. ByuN has to turn back around. More SCVs are going down. This is getting out of control. A couple of Lings are buried. Scan is required. This is a bit of a misclick. As we do accidentally click on the CC itself, we get a lot of damage done, but we could have killed some more SCVs. So a bit of miscontrol out of Dark. As the drop play attempts to continue, but Dark is able to shut it down left and right, time and time again. And now he is slowly getting into his 3-3. 3-3, kind of splitting. Vipers are on the way. And ByuN is that much more committed as a result. And yo, he's getting it done. Oh my god. Here comes the Lings. Mine shot's not quite connecting. Big fungal on the Marines. A massive fungal does connect. ByuN's main army is going to be forced back, but he did get a kill on this hatchery, and he's going to keep on pushing. He cleans up the Lings. He's forcing his way into that mineral line. He wants it, but alas, Lings, they come in just in time, and they will be cleaned up. Really efficient trades here out of Dark. Sorry, out of ByuN. God, I did it again. Really efficient trades out of ByuN. Dark bleeding out a bit too much. He may be ahead in workers, but he's losing base after base. This is affecting his production. This is affecting his ability to spend his money. As the Ultras are arriving. They're coming. Ultras are on the way. That Infestor somehow avoids the scan. He's sucking it in. Oh my god. At the same time... Oh my god, the friendly fire! That was almost purely friendly fire! 8 SCVs go down. Thanks to those Widow Mines. Power Bomb's gonna be coming in. Oh, drops go down as well. ByuN gonna have to retreat here. I don't think we really want to commit, not right now. Not yet. Some more bathing run-bys are attempted. We do see Dark trying to collapse here on this army. Dark is beating out a lot of units as well. Bear that in mind. He hasn't been trading too well. Yeah, even here, these Banelings, they go down. They take down a couple of Marauders. A Widow Mine. ByuN can just keep on pushing. Ultras are on the way. Now Ultra's the answer. Are they the answers? Oh my god! As the Ling Bane does crash on this army, collapses on in, cleans up half of it. But you can see ByuN, he just stands his ground, keeps on reinforcing, trading very well here with his upgrades with 3-3. And Dark, he just needs some room to breathe. Needs some time here to spend his resources, spend his money. Inject his bases as he only has 5 queens. And ByuN just refuses to slow down. Almost purely Marauders. Oh my god. Massive mine shots. Dark losing so many of those Marines. Almost for free. Sorry, Dark losing so many of those Lings almost for free. God, it's the fatigue is getting to me a little bit. Thankfully, I'm only messing up the names. I'm still coherent. So here we go. Double jump towards the left. I'm hoping to catch an Ultra. Can we get it? Up! Not quite. Big overextension, but at the same time, ByuN gets into a mineral line, breaks the base once again, and oh god. Dark, it just feels like he has been losing a bit too much, but did I speak too soon? Eventually, as Lings, they do slip into the natural base. SCVs are falling at the same time. The main army of Dark heading towards the third base of ByuN. Takes down the factory. Takes down 10 SCVs. Dark just being as annoying as possible. Hiding those Lings. Again, Dark, he's just been losing so many of his workers here. Liberator going ham at that triangular third base. The army a bit overstimmed here, but the Ultras, they're not looking too hot either. Big mine shots go off. Ultras are going down, at least on the right-hand side. Behind the army, though, here come even more Ultras from Dark. He gets us around. This is so close. This is such a slugfest here between both Dark and ByuN. Dark, he's barely holding each time, but he's also taking just big mine shots to the face whenever possible. Speaking of, no mine shots this time. This time, ByuN, we're going for a pseudo base trade. ByuN, he loses his third base. At the same time, though, he's going to deny a fresh mining base of Dark. Hatchery will fall. Dark, he's not slowing down. He keeps on pushing. Breaking into the natural, forcing some friendly fire. And it looks like Dark may have just done it. It's close. Oh, the burrow. The buff to the... Oh my god, he's having fun. The buff to the Burrowed Ultras. Let's go. Does take slightly less time to borrow an Ultra for those wondering in the new patch. Specifically a dark buff. As, yeah, we have broken through the army. Getting into the natural, into the main base. There's nothing left. A handful of Marines and Marauders. He rotates towards the third. Could even rotate towards the other third base. It looks like it's just too much. GG gets called, and Dark will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Oh my god. And I was concerned, Poppy. I was concerned. GG, well played. Very back and forth there. Oh, I'm blurry. Oh, we're back. Very back and forth there between ByuN and Dark. Constantly just both players losing workers, losing mineral lines, taking some rough trades. In the end, the Ultras, they reigned supreme. They were able to trade well enough, preserve them, keep them alive as well, and snowball that into a win in game 1. Win in that first game. Oh, un momento. As we have a series. We have a series on our hands. We're getting into game number 3. Sorry, I just did a squat. Getting the blood flowing, and here we go in the top right hand corner from on the map, Solaris. We have representing Shopify Rebellion from the land of South Korea. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. Okay, we're good to go. We are good for it. Oh, and ByuN looking to go for the low ground Araxes once again, 2 games in a row. As a reminder, game 1 there was proxy 2 Arax, but in game 2, much more standard opener out of ByuN, and looking to be the same here in game number 3 as the SCV comes down to the low ground, and we should be throwing down that Rax. Meanwhile, Dark did bring it back. It wasn't an easy road for him though. It is a patch gas pool out of Dark, but it wasn't an easy road. It was quite a back and forth, and there were moments there where I was concerned that Dark was maybe trading a little bit too inefficiently. We saw a lot of juicy mine connections. We saw, especially early on, ByuN gaining a lot of momentum, cleaning out a lot of lings, and we are not slowing down. That is the third Rax. What does that mean? That means Mass Reaper. 3 Rax Mass Reaper out of ByuN, a very aggressive build. Now, this is not all in. It is committed. Don't get me wrong. With 3 Rax Reaper, you need to not just deny the third. That's what I'm getting at. Not just deny the third base. We want to contain on 2 bases. We want to kill some queens. We want to kill some drones. We want to trade well with all of our Reapers. But also, we need to preserve those Reapers and keep them alive to be able to get into our next step. To be able to get into our 2-base saturation, into our stim timing, into our Marines. We cannot throw them away. If we do, we lose map control. And if that happens, Dark, he could go all in. Could try to break the Terran back at home. ByuN has to be very careful here with his movement. Maybe dipping on forward. Sniping a couple of lings. Or just trading with the lings, I should say. Dancing. Poking away. Second Reaper will arrive. That is, again, looking normal so far. Nothing major yet here. No red flags for Dark. He barely does not lose a drone. That was close though. Very close. Dark does hold. Meanwhile, this third base is going to be cancelled. Dark trying to be a little bit greedy, but there's no shot. There's no way we can hold on to this base, especially with additional Reapers on the way. And ByuN is already transitioning, actually. Huh. Okay, a much earlier transition out of ByuN. There we go, the Reapers have arrived. We actually ignore the base, we go straight for the Queens. I mentioned this before, but when you go 3-Rax Reaper, you do want to get more damage than just denying the base. And it looks like 2 Queens go down. This is getting out of hand. Uh-oh. No more Queens are remaining. There's no anchor point to the army. We have a couple of Lings remaining here, and it looks like ByuN is going to respect it. He's going to back off. He can go straight for the hatchery instead. He's just waiting for another round of reinforcements before going in. And it looks like ByuN will allow this hatchery to finish. Okay. So ByuN basically, he decided to go for the Queens instead of the base. And not a bad trade. Not a bad trade whatsoever. Getting those Queens. He's going to back off. He's racing back home. He's aware that link speed is done. He doesn't want to get caught out. He doesn't want to get surrounded. And he will keep all of the Reapers alive. 1 link, 2 Queens. Good trade so far here from ByuN. As he gets into his transition, we have our natural base and we have our stim on the way. I mentioned before that, again, 3-Rax Reaper is not all in. You do transition out of this into marine play, into a stim timing, and that is what ByuN is working on. Meanwhile, we do see these Lings just doing whatever they can, clearing up some rooks. Dark, he's just saturating his bases, he's stabilizing. We're going for a fast Evo chamber. This Evo chamber should be for +1 Carapace. That is the correct reaction to a mass bio army that's coming your way. Carapace is the most important upgrade here, and there it is. This Carapace is the most important upgrade because it does apply to every single Marine shot. Marines have a high rate of fire, so it does apply to every single shot taken, just to minimize damage here and maximize effectiveness and efficiency here out of these Lings and Mailings. Behind this, Dark going for his 4th hatchery as well. Again, just focusing on droning for the time being. He was focusing on droning, but we have 26 more Lings on the way. He spots the move out, and he's hoping for a surround. 26 Lings in production at the same time. Not quite catching reinforcements. This is also why I said before that we want to preserve those Reapers. They are now joining forces here with the main bio push. We can throw down KDA charges. We can avoid surrounds. Speaking of, here comes Dark. Dark, he's coming in from behind. He gets a full surround here on the army. The medivacs are doing what they can, but this is a massive cleanup. A strong moment here, a big moment for Dark. As he cleans up the forces, he cleans up the army, goes for a counterattack, gets a couple more Marines. Won't try to bust into the natural, he doesn't have banelings for it. He will race back home. ByuN still has a threatening army. Has to be respected. Dark, he's got 14 more Lings in production. Just dive into the mineral line as well. Trying to get whatever we can get. Trade as best we can. ByuN will back off. Oh my god, he backs up but he comes back in. Behind this, 3rd CC is on the way. We have another army pushing towards the 3rd base of Dark. So far, Dark is able to keep up. He is able to keep up as ByuN keeps on pushing. And yeah, these pure Lings, they're kind of in position, but no, the SimCity working against Dark. A massive trade here from ByuN. He cleans up all the Lings, goes straight for the Baneling Nest as well. That's a big loss here for Dark. 0 Banelings. And the positioning is it's just too good. GG gets called. ByuN snowballs out of control in one swift move. And ByuN takes game number 3. GG, it was over. Things escalated very quickly out of control. Initially, it's like, oh, you know, we have a drop in the main base. We have the main army pushing out. Like, Dark, he can hold on. He's got a Baneling Nest. He's got Lings. He's got Queens. But the positioning there, he was able to catch Dark completely off guard, out of position. And yeah, those Marines wedging themselves within or next to that Bailey nest within the mineral patches as well, reducing the surface area. GG, well played. Again, things just escalating very quickly. And ByuN is now one game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup champion. This week's champion. Here we go. Can he pull it off, or can Dark force the ace match? Here we go. The pressure is on. Dark is up against the wall. And we're going to be loading in to side Delta. Let's go. This morning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have the player currently leading the series 2-1. Again, just popping off in the last game and looking to do so again. Here on side Delta, representing Shopify Rebellion, it is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. Boy, the pressure is on. Dark needs to fight back here and now. We're going for another proxy 2 racks in the center of the map. No, this is not a proxy 2 racks. This is a proxy 3 racks. Something very different, something far more deadly. This is that much more all in. Overlord is coming out, and will the Overlord see the third racks? Oh, it should. The Overlord commits. Dark, he knows that he needs to recognize whether this is one or the other, as ByuN, he cancels, he backs off. Gets the hell out of there. SCV leaves, and ByuN will only be committing to a 2 racks. The boys are being pulled, and Dark is shutting this down. ByuN are going to try and transition back at home. I don't know what he said, but I'm sure he wasn't too happy about that. I mean, at least he didn't commit. If he had thrown down a third racks, then he would have sealed his fate. Instead, only 2 raxes. Yeah, forces a cancel. And Dark has defended. Dark looking good here so far in the early game. Oh, game number 4. The Marine, does not get a drone kill either, as Dark, he can just, transfer back over towards his natural. We have Lynx on the way, Queens as well. ByuN is working on a CC on location. A really risky move, actually. A bold move, but I mean, he has this Rax here holding the fort. He's getting away with it for now. Into eventually a factory on the high ground. And ByuN, he has to be greedy. He has to be greedy if he wants to come back in this game. Rax is floating back home, and Reaper's pushing in. Oh boy. Let's go. The Reaper has arrived. It looks like we are not going to get a drone. We force back. Dark for now going to be holding. He is going to be holding strong, holding fast. As Dark does sneak out of third base. It is a delayed third, but a third nonetheless. Likewise, ByuN also has a delayed CC. It's all delayed just because of the quirky nature of the openers. And from here, Dark, you should just be able to drone up. ByuN is going for a Cyclone first. Very interesting choice. And he's going 3CC before Starport, which is spotted by Dark. He sees the command center in production, so he's fully aware that his opponent's being very economic. It's going to be a 3CC 1-1-1. No second racks. Oh. There we go. We are just easing ourselves in towards the mid game. So far, I would still give the edge to Dark. I do think that Dark had a much stronger start overall after punishing and denying the proxies and all that stuff. I know that the third base is a little bit later than we would have liked, but that is still manageable here for Dark, as he's just fully saturating on 2 bases, taking his gases. Ling speed is on the way, and yeah, Dark not looking too bad now. Even though things aren't looking too bad, we've seen ByuN still just turn water into wine and just get an insane amount of value nonetheless out of just a handful of units. And interesting, it's going to be 3cc 111. It's going to be 3cc Cloak Banshee from ByuN. The Banshees, they're coming back. They are looking to come back. Cloak on the way. Banshees in production. Imagine going to be working on 2 again. Ooh, as soon as the Reaper goes out, we go straight for the lair. This isn't a fast lair. There's what, a 3 minutes 45 lair timing, which is pretty normal. Very safe play here out of Dark. This should eventually lead into a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren, one or the other. Most likely a Baneling Nest out of Dark. Yeah, there it is. Baneling Nest is thrown down. Now, the reason why I say this is because the Baneling Nest is lined up to finish by the time the lair finishes, which means we can go straight into Baneling speed. There are 2 Evo chambers for 1-1. Pretty solid setup here from Dark. And I can say the same for ByuN. ByuN has got his 3rd TC. He's getting into 3-1-1 setup here with 3 Raxes. Going down a 4th Rax here on the low ground. 4th and 5th Rax, actually. There you go. So, yeah, we're kind of getting into the mid-game without too much issue. Without too much issue at all. Which we do love to see. Now, it's going to be all about the mid-game at this point. It's going to be about how good the creep spread is here for Dark, whether or not ByuN can establish his 3rd base without too much issue, and how good the drop play of ByuN is going to be. The Banshees reveal themselves, and no, 1 goes down already. The Banshees, they haven't done anything. Oh, a rough start here for ByuN. Now, Banshees, they are dual purpose. Like, obviously, they can shoot down, and they're amazing against Roach openers. It looks like ByuN was assuming that Dark would go for a Roach opener, as Dark is throwing down a Hydrogen and an Infestation, but at the same time. A little bit greedy here out of Dark. Being very tech-heavy. It looks like Dark is getting ready for some Lunkers. Hydrolic Viper for now. But the Lunkers on the horizon nonetheless. Far on the horizon, but you know, it's there. I can see it. It's you can see, Pappy. You can see. Oh, as ByuN will lose that final Banshee. Again, quite brutal. It does mean that the opener of ByuN was subpar. Didn't quite achieve much with said Banshees at all. And a shout out to Dark for being able to keep up with it. Ling does dip in and confirm the 3rd base. Building up his forces here, just waiting for those Medivacs before he does start going for drop play. He needs to sooner rather than later. Finally, he's moving out. Why I say he needs to deny creep. Like, this creep is now getting to the halfway mark. We just haven't been vying for control. Oh, as we do get caught out. A couple of Marines go down the mine. Up. Mine shot doesn't quite connect. Another mine here on the high ground. But ByuN is forced back, and Dark, he's getting out of hand. Double expanding, getting a 5th and 6th base. Clearing up these rocks in the center, going for a Ling Bane. We have Adrenal on the way with that Hive. No Vipers yet, I believe. Yeah, no Vipers yet. But just Adrenal. Just mass Ling Bane. And as a result, ByuN is going to have a hard time pushing. ByuN, I don't think he can push. I think he's just stuck at home. He has already lost so much momentum because of the openers, and I think he fully understands that. Yep, he's just turtling up, throwing down turrets, starting on missile turrets, drilling claws for those widow mines, and yeah, ByuN, he's stuck at home. Stuck, Papi. Stuck. Meanwhile, the world is Dark's oyster. And what does he do with it? He maxes out on Lingbane. He's reaching that 200 supply mark. Here we go. We're getting ready to engage from multiple angles. The mine shots, they need to connect. Good mine shot on the left. Decent mine shot on the right. A lot of links go down, but the Baylings, they connect. Up. Decent connections on these Marines. Some of them do escape. But the Baylings, they're making their way towards the mineral lines. They take down an eBay. Tank is falling. Lings, they bust into the mineral line. The Baylings as well. GG gets called. It's just far too much. And Dark takes game number 4. We have an ace match. We're going all the way to game 5. GG. GG, well played. And I think what I'm most impressed by is that this game, it was all about the openers. It was the fact that ByuN put himself behind by going for what was going to be a proxy 3 racks, was shut down, and Dark took a lead and he just ran with it. Not just that, but he also shut down the Banshee opener, which meant that all those resources were just down the drain. They did not pay for themselves. They didn't do any economic damage. They didn't kill any queens. Just really solid play out of Dark after shutting down that proxy. And now we have our final game of the best of 5. It all ends here. It all ends on ByuN. The final map of the series, the final map of the tournament, to determine who comes out on top, who's going to be our champion, the Zerg or the Terran, the Dark or the ByuN. We will find out. Meanwhile, I will let you know that after this series, I'm... bitch. I could have tried to, if I was a little bit more well rested, I could have tried to stay up and cast ESL Open Cup Europe, but I don't see that happening. I'm very tired after barely sleeping earlier. So yeah, our goal here is to finish covering ESL Asia, and then tomorrow Americas. ESL Open Cup Americas will be next instead. But again, at least just continuing broadcasting on a daily basis. Tomorrow, we're also going to be catching up with WTL. We missed out on day 3 of World Team League, so we will be casting and covering World Team League tomorrow. At around this time. A little bit earlier than this time. Before GSL. As we're getting into that final game, it all comes down to this final map, and it's hard to really get a read on how this series and how this series will end, how this series finale will go, just because of how aggressive our players have been. Aggression from both sides, especially when it comes to the openers. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ByuN. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion being forced into the ace match. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, tying up the series 2-2 in that last game, forcing the ace match. It is Dark. And this time the Raxes are back at home, and important to take note of, because this series we've seen proxy 2 racks out of ByuN, we've seen an attempted proxy 3 racks as well. This time the Raxes in the natural wall, where they should be, thankfully. So getting a much more calm and chill early game. I mean, I say calm and chill, it should still be a 2 racks opener nonetheless. I say that, but the SCV hasn't come down yet. This could even be something that ByuN has been dabbling in. The special opener, which is racks into factory on the low ground with a CC behind it. Again, Special has been very fond of this, and it has been slowly catching on amongst the Korean players. It took a couple of years, but they like it, Papi. They like it. And it is going to be a Rex Expand Marine first. Marine to begin with. Followed eventually by that factory as well, I imagine. As there's that CC on location. Back at home, hatch, gas pool. Standard opener out of Dark. Nothing too fancy, there's no 15-15 here, there's no like gases opener or anything like that. If we were on Radisson Station, then maybe, but here everything is just a lot more chill. There's that factory that we were talking about on the low ground. Rack's going to be lifted, going to shut down the Overlord. I wonder if ByuN is willing to embrace... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, I wonder if he's willing to embrace the Cyclone like a bunch of other Terran players have, but looks like that isn't going to be the case. We do have a tech lab, sorry, reactor on the way, but I don't think we're going for an add-on. So meanwhile, we're going for a bait bus. That's a very early baiting nest here from Dark, catching me off guard. I was like, we're gonna ease our way in, you know, we're getting overlords, we're droning, we're chilling. No, not anymore. Dark, one way or another, the game ends, or we cripple the economy. Lings are on the way. Banelings. All or nothing, and Dark will be sending everything out. Meanwhile, ByuN doesn't know. ByuN, he skipped his Reaper. Remember, ByuN went Marine first. Marine first, not Reaper. ByuN, he also skipped his SCV Scout, so he has no idea what's coming his way. He has no idea what's happening. We do have some Hellions. Hellions, they can help defend against Ling Bane. They are a good unit to make use of. Here we go, the Lings, they pull the trigger. We get a surround on the Marines, and we're looking for surround on these Hellions as well. The wall is not a wall. Banelings are in production. The jig is up. We still have 2 Hellions alive. And 2 more come out. And with good enough control, these Hellions, they can clean this up. As Baneling does finish. And Banelings, they are completing. Banshees are on the way as well. So far, the Banelings are lining up. Up. Good target firing here from ByuN. He gets 3 Banelings, and can he get the last 2? Oh, he doesn't. No! The Banelings. They do crash into the mineral line. One of them still does survive as well, and it will connect here with the Hellion. 1 Hellion left for ByuN. But we have more on the way behind this. The Banshee arrives as well. Baneling will not connect. Oh my god. Will connect, actually. As it finishes up just in time. ByuN down to 13 SCVs. We have Lings continuing to flood across the map as well. Dark is now droning. But he's getting more damage done. Takes down the depot. Goes for more SCVs. There's nothing on the ground. Oof. And this Banshee is too little too late. It will eventually kill everything, but not before ByuN loses every single SCV. Again, ByuN, he skipped his SCV Scout. Well, I mean, the SCV Scout wouldn't have told him that anyway, but he did skip his Reaper. Didn't have any map presence whatsoever. Was in the dark. ByuN even going for some of his own mules. That's all that's left, Pop. There's nothing else left. Stop it. Ah. Oh my god. There's 1 mule remains. GG gets called. There's nothing left here for ByuN, and Dark will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark, bringing it back. There were some worrisome moments, some very strong plays here out of ByuN in this series, in this finals. It was very shaky, very back and forth, though. Likewise, Dark was also hyper aggressive. You could see that come to fruition even here in the ace match, to go all the way for a Ling Bane bust, unscouted, completely unscouted. And ByuN, no idea what was happening, could not keep up. GG. GG, well played. We'll just let them know. And yeah, oh right, I should fix it up on the score screen as well. And congratulations, my condolences to ByuN. He played well. He played very well here in the finals. Made it all the way to the grand finals as well. 2-0ing solo in the process, but could not overcome the might that was Dark in the end. And yeah, they're both amazing players. They go back and forth in series. And yeah, an ace match makes a lot of sense here between both of them, both Dark and ByuN. Went the distance. GG. Whew. And I hope everyone in the chats enjoyed themselves. We had a lot of great games here tonight. Cyan was popping off early on. I feel like the highlight for tonight has to be Australia versus Cyan. If you tune in a little bit later, I highly recommend checking out the VODs. Australia versus Cyan was insane. It was crazy. And worth checking out just because of how nonsensical it was. Or how brilliant, depending on how you look at it. You know, it was either just nonsense or it was brilliance. You know, very fine line between the two. Very fine line. And yeah, it was just an amazing series to bear witness to. An amazing series to be a part of. And with that, GG, well played. That does wrap up our broadcast for the day. Our broadcast does wrap up here, and I hope everyone in the chat did enjoy themselves. We also did stream over on YouTube for the first time today as well. I know that a couple people also tuning in via YouTube for our first stream. They did, of course, recently announce that we can multi-stream. We can dual stream nowadays. So we are going to be attempting to stream on YouTube and Twitch both at the same time, as much as we can. That should also help with VODs. We'll see. We'll see if it does help with VODs and uploading and all that stuff. Hopefully, skipping a step and being more efficient. But yeah, outside of that, hope everyone had a great time. Hope everyone did enjoy themselves. If you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft, ESL Open Cup Europe is in a couple of hours. It is going to be in almost 5 hours. In almost 5 hours time is ESL Open Cup Europe. I will not be casting that. We typically don't cast ESL Open Cup EU just because of the bad time slots. I'm in Australia. It is midnight here in Australia, so yeah, I won't be covering that. But I will be going to bed and waking up in a couple of hours to cover ESL Open Cup Americas. That is going to be in 10 hours time. Plenty of time to sleep. Plenty of time to sleep, to wake up, and to be well rested, getting into some ESL Open Cup Americas action. So that's going to be the plan here on the CranKy Ducklings. Tomorrow, we will also be doing a catch-up stream as well. We're going to be catching up with World Team League. We were casting on Sunday, so we actually didn't get to cast World Team League live. But we do have the VODs. We do have replays available. So we will be going over day 3 of this most recent week's WTL. From yesterday, basically. Yesterday's WTL. We'll be casting that tomorrow in the afternoon in just under 24 hours time. So a lot of casting going on. 2 broadcasts tomorrow. 2.5 actually. Because we're going to do WTL day 3 and we're going to do the second half of day 1 as well. So a lot of StarCraft. A lot of StarCraft to be had. And yeah, I hope you all had a great time. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. A shout out to Gemini for giving us a raid earlier. If you remember, Gemini did raid us. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. Where's my shower with your dad stream? I'm far too tired for that. I'm at bed time, man. Bed time. But yeah, with that, we're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. If you want to follow us, if you enjoyed the content, if you want some more, !socials in the chat. We'll give you a link to everything else. !socials. We'll give you a link to our Discord server, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube. We have a Discord server as well. Sorry, we have YouTube and everything else. So you can follow us if you wish. We also have a Patreon. You can see our goal just underneath me. Our Patreon goal to fully fund our events. We do host events on a bi-weekly basis. And our goal there is to actually have it fully funded by the community, as that's how much we spend on a monthly basis. And our goal is to turn our bi-weeklies into weeklies. But again, it all comes down to whether there's enough interest in the community, in the scene. So you can support us there if you wish, or you can always subscribe as well. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Americas and for World Team League. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. Until then, hasta luego. Bye. Bye. See you next time. See you next time.